Hi everyone, welcome to this very special official trailer for Aquatic Habitats book, authored by Strietman, photographed by myself, with assistance from Dave Pearce from Aquarium Gardens. Also, this video has been produced by Gary Jones, that's GJ Aquascaping. Make sure you follow him on your socials, an up-and-coming aquascaper and very talented filmmaker. So thanks so much to Gary, thanks so much to Ty and Dave. Let's roll with the official trailer.
So I'm Ty Strietman and I'm the author of this book, Aquatic Habitats Inspired by Nature, which I'm working on with my friends. This book is the result of a lot of thinking about how to bring natural looking displays into people's living rooms, with the idea that if I can get them to fall in love with the habitats where many of their favourite aquarium fish and plants come from, they can then become interested in those places. And then they can see the environmental threats that are facing those places. For example, if you love your Espe rasboras, well, they come from Sumatran peat swamps, which are being drained and burned and turned into palm oil. Well, now do you want to buy shampoo with palm oil in? I don't know. So it's that kind of connecting, lots and lots of small actions and thoughts inspired by a love based on the aquarium hobby and fish and plants that can lead to changes on global scale in a very small way. So today we're setting up a Zambezi floodplain biotope. So think of the sort of savannas, Serengetis of sub-Saharan Africa. Okavango Delta is another classic example. These great big grasslands which have watercourses running through them. In the wet season, these become flooded and these small streams and narrow rivers suddenly spread over large areas of grassland. That's what we're trying to replicate today. To help me do that, I've got my friend and colleague George Farmer, aquascaper and author, who is my director of photography, also brings his considerable aquascaping talents to the project. And I'm very lucky that Dave Pearce of Aquarium Gardens, who's supplied much of the hardscape and the plants for this display, is also coming and helping with his aquascaping eye. I have a sketch, I have a plan, but I'm always open to those guys saying, actually Ty, I think it would be better if you did this or did that. And it normally makes the original idea so much better. So we will be setting this project up. It's a very small tank. It's a 75 Wio Vistas tank from Wio.eco, a Spanish firm that supplied the tank and the lighting. It's a shallow design, which might seem quite limiting, but I think actually gives us a canvas to create something really, really cool, a bit different. And the fish that we're going to be showcasing is Enteromius fasciolatus, the African banded barb.
Yeah, hi, I'm George Farmer, full-time aquascaper, and I'm very privileged to be involved with Ty Strietman on the Aquatic Habitats book. My main role is as official photographer, or as Ty likes to say, director of photography. Ty reached out to me 6 months ago or so, maybe a bit longer now, to pick my brains. He basically wanted a supplier of aquarium plants for this book idea, and with my work with Tropica, thought that we could help out. I took it a step further, and actually I've worked with Ty previously and I am a great believer in this book. I think it's a great idea and it can really serve the world of fish keeping to the greater good. So for me it was a no-brainer to be involved and offer my services as not only photographer but also to help kind of market the book and coordinate all the suppliers of the aquariums, lighting, substrates, hardscapes, CO2 equipment, and also the social media promotion and general marketing of the book. So it's a very much a labour of love. We've got 60 aquascapes to photograph and film, and Ty's obviously got the hard work of writing about them and planning them. I've got the relatively easy task and joyous task of photographing these beautiful creations, and it really is an honour for me, and I'm very grateful for Ty for the opportunity.
So my role in this project is to be one supplier of the hardscape and substrate from Aquarium Gardens. We have a beautiful range of wood and rock, soils and substrates, various types that we can use for different tanks, different styles, and also my second role is to offer my aquascaping assistance. So from my experience with aquascapes and showroom in the shop here, and transfer that into this project with collaborating biotopes and aquascaping together to create a unique project. I think that bridge between biotopes and aquascapes is going to bring a new set of customers, if you like, to Aquarium Gardens. It's going to join the two hobbies together a little bit. It's going to join fish keepers and aquascapers, and perhaps the benefits of both of those things, join those together and create something, almost a new side to the hobby. So biotope aquascaping, if you like. So I think that's one of the main benefits of bringing this into the project.
It also stems from my experience of spending a lot of time in natural habitats, particularly in Brazil, in Colombia as well, a little bit in Costa Rica, Botswana, Zambia, Philippines, Australia. I've been very lucky, I've travelled many places. And the number of times I've seen someone create a biotope, a tank that mimics a natural habitat. And sometimes it looks really authentic, but it can be really dull. You know, some brown leaves, some brown branches, some brown fish, some plain sand. Many habitats are like that. Many of our most popular fish come from that kind of habitat. But in truth, there's such a vast array of habitats out there, with plants, with flowing rapids, with beautiful coloured rocks, with incredible substrates, all sorts of textures. And I thought, well, I want to share that with people and show them that a biotope tank could be so much more. It could actually be something that could be aquascaped. And I've been really lucky in that George and Dave only live sort of half an hour away from me. I was living in Brazil until December 2020. I came back. I reached out to George about this idea of doing this book, and maybe he could help me with finding the plants. George really wanted to get much more involved. We were already associated and affiliated with Dave through his Aquarium Gardens shop. Reached out to Dave, who very generously offered to get involved as well. I've been really, really lucky to have them on board. And generally as well, people all around the world are contributing to this book. I've got my friend Jason Solder in Australia, Thomas Minesi in the Congo, Russell Bryan Tate in Southern Africa. You know, we've never met in person, and yet they are really enthusiastic about the book. They reach out, they send me photos of habitats, they send me videos of fish and plants in the wild, they send me information and data. There is what my mum refers to as the aquarium mafia, who's this wonderful and very generous group of people, whether that's in shops. So James Sampson, who is regional manager for 3 Maidenhead aquarium stores which supply most of our fish, or Ely Aquatics and Reptiles is another fantastic shop. All these businesses and sponsors who are providing tanks, lights, fish, substrates, hardscape such as Dave's shop, plants from Tropica, filter systems. None of it would be possible without their support. And I think for me, it's been really confidence boosting, because it shows that there is a level of trust and people see the value that this book can bring to the hobby. As George has alluded to, and Dave as well, it's closing this gap between traditional sort of aquascaping, nature aquariums, and the biotopes. And there's always been a bit of tension somehow between these two parts of the hobby. There doesn't need to be. There's this great middle ground where really beautiful and joyous and interesting things can be created. And I think the book is trying to do that. It's trying to say, look, here's a beautiful natural habitat. You can replicate it in your living room and it can look amazing. Oh, and why don't you read about the origins of the fish and plants from this habitat? What's going on in the wild in those places? Is there something you can do to help preserve them? That's basically what the book is aiming to do.
The Aquatic Habitats book has such a great kind of crossover in terms of it covers aquascaping, but also covers biotope aquariums.
And when I was 9, my mum gave me this book, The Complete Aquarium by Peter W. Scott, who's actually a vet. And this book showcased tanks, biotopes from around the world with fish and plants from those regions. It's an old book now. It's a lot has changed, the tech has changed, the information available has changed. And I thought, nobody has done an update on this book in 30 years. Why not? And I thought, well, I think I've got the experience, I think I've got the know-how, I've got the contacts. Let's see if we can get this ball rolling. And after reaching out to George, that's kind of what happened. And so yeah, it's inspiration from that book, an inspiration from a lifetime of fish keeping and exploring aquatic habitats around the world. So before I decide on what tank we do, I think about the habitat or the species I want to showcase. I then have to sort of cross-reference that with, is it available in the trade? Is it affordable? Is it sustainable to look after long term? Could most people do it? What size tanks would it need to be in? If I establish, right, I've got the species, I've got the habitat, I then sit down and do a sketch based on photos, videos, articles, scientific journals that I find online, photos that friends send me from those habitats, and try and see how could this be done within the walls of an aquarium. And I'll sketch out a rough display, and then I can show Dave or George and say, guys, this is what I want to do. And if we can get those exact plants and materials, fantastic. If we can't, what can we use to substitute it? And it makes it much easier for them to see the vision that I have, and it acts as a blueprint for the scapes. It also makes it much more efficient. We're not sort of faffing around. We know exactly that we have to do A, B, and C. Photograph this, photograph that, photograph this, showcase these elements. This is what we'll include. This is the purpose of the tank. These are the species that we're showcasing. It makes it much more efficient and dynamic just by doing a little sketch.
So the Aquatic Habitats book is really going to appeal to such a huge readership, I think. Established fish keepers and aquascapers are really going to enjoy it, but newcomers as well. And it has this unique kind of crossover of high-level aquascaping, but realistic kind of biotope aquarium keeping as well. So it's got this beautiful combination of catering for the fish's needs. So you're actually creating a home that they're going to thrive in, potentially breed in, show their best colours, show their most natural behaviours, but also something that you, as the creator, as someone that's aquascaped this beautiful aquarium, are actually going to really enjoy witnessing. So you're going to enjoy this beautiful aesthetic thing that you've created, but you're also going to enjoy witnessing this underwater world that you've created for these living things that you're in charge of.
So the book is due to be published late 2023. It's being published by Skyhorse Publications, who did George's aquascaping book. We'll bring the manuscript to them early next year, which is why we have quite a tight deadline, because I've got about quite a few tanks to do and quite a couple of 100,000 words to write before then. We'll hand in the manuscript. The book will go through development and printing process to be ready on the shelves for Christmas 2023.